Yeah, I suppose I need to do it. I haven't been here for eternity, I guess. And there was a reason for this, and a lot of things happened in my life since I uploaded the last video here. And yeah, probably I put it into the title of this video. I left Russia, I relocated from Russia, and in this video I think I will explain why. I want to be honest with you, it is a little bit difficult for me to film this video, and it is a little bit painful to talk about all these things, but it is a very important video for me, and I wanted to film it even for myself, to capture this period in my life, to capture my thoughts at this particular period. And even sharing, I guess, can be pretty therapeutical, I want to start from the very beginning, and we will move way back into the past right now. Okay, here is the thing. I want to be honest with you. I love Russia. I love this country. I was born there, and all my life is actually there, my family, my friends, all the places that I love, all the places that are meaningful to me, all the places are located there. And the majority of people that I love and appreciate so much, people that mean a lot for me in my life, they are located there. Despite all these factors, despite all these things, thoughts about relocation had been always on my husband's and my mind, and we had been talking about this pretty often, and we had been thinking about this pretty often, even before the war and all the horrible things that happened in 2022. And the main reason why we had thoughts about our relocation even before the war was the fact that we felt and noticed all the horrible things that were happening inside of the country, and some political aspects, like political repressions, some horrible and strange laws, and lack of freedom of word, and lack of political competition in general, from some perspective, it seems to me that we kind of knew that it is coming to something bad, but somewhere deep inside we had a lot of hopes that things can be better, that that authorities can change, that the political direction can change, and that life can be better, in Russia. And, it always felt like some sort of inner negotiation, I want to stay, I want to leave, I want to stay, I want to leave. And, it happened, this way all the time. It felt like some sort of vicious circle. I don't know. And when the war started, I was sure that we need to leave right away. We need to leave, we need to, I don't know, that was it felt like the last drop, I have a video on my channel about that period, I filmed it in April 2022, if I'm not mistaken, and you can watch it if you want to hear all my thoughts about the situation. But it was a period when we actively were thinking whether we should go or stay, because, as I mentioned before, it was extremely hectic, and the first wave of immigration started, in immigration from Russia. And of course, a lot of directions have become kind of closed for Russian people because of the political issues, and there were not that many countries available where we could go, and all the prices, of course, skyrocketed because of these ticket prices and real estate prices. Everything has become extremely expensive, and we decided to calm down a little bit, to calm down and to wait a little bit, till everything is going to stabilize a little bit somehow. And I believe that somewhere in May, we decided to stay at least for summer, and we made a very strange decision at that point, I guess, and now I think that it was a mistake. In summer, we decided to build a house in our woodland. I think at this point we have to come back a little bit in the past again. About 4 years ago, my husband and I bought a wonderful piece of land. We've been wanting for living, near nature for a very long time, and it was one of our dreams to have a house in a forest, ideally. And yeah, we found a perfect piece of land, and it was located not that far away from a town there we lived at that point. And yeah, everything, just all the factors were perfect, and we loved this place so much. And yeah, I still love it with all my heart. And this place is one of the places that is kind of pushing me back, it's one of the things that I'm attached to so much. We've been saving up for a long time because we wanted to build a proper house there. And yeah, it was just like a dream picture for me, a house surrounded by trees, and I suppose I might have a kind of tiny garden there, and maybe some plant beds, and I wanted to film there, because I love to film nature, I love to film plants. Yeah, everything kind of looked pretty nice. This picture looked pretty nice, and that is something that I had in my head for so long that it was really hard to give up on this, And in summer 2022, maybe logically it is not very clear, and I still don't understand kind of this decision logically. Probably it was mostly an emotional decision, but we decided to build a house, even though we knew all the risks. We understood everything, but that's probably how our brain works. It kind of tries to protect you from negative thoughts, and it tries to think that everything is going to be all right. I don't know. And we started building our house, and actually by the middle of summer, it was kind of ready, I mean, from the outside, and not ready from the inside, but still it was a house, and we built a fucking house in a country that was in the middle of the war. It is pleasant for me to know that I have a place like this, even though I can't live there at this point. I don't know. But actually, summer 2022 was the happiest probably summer in my life. Despite the context, despite everything what was happening in the world, all the horrible and scary things that were happening in the world, of course I couldn't detach myself from this reality. I couldn't detach myself from the news. I kept following the news, but despite all the context, I felt very happy in summer because I enjoyed the weather. I enjoyed our, meetings with friends, our cozy evening near campfire. We have a lot of, summer traditions with our friends. And yeah, it was an intensive summer. And yeah, it was a summer when we built the house. And everything felt, I felt very alive. At some point I realized that maybe I can even adapt to the new reality, and maybe I should stay in the country to do something good there. I don't know, to do charity things, to help people. I don't know, I tried to find some new purposes for myself and some new purposes of what I can do in Russia while staying there, Maybe to create a community of like-minded people, maybe to create art and sell this art, and part of this money sent to charity, to some Ukrainian organizations, to help refugees. I don't know, I started to create new senses, of what I can do, while keeping all these new purposes in my head, while keeping all these new senses in my head. I think I kind of found some peace in September, I imagined that we can finish our house by the beginning of the winter, and we can start living there, and we can finally be close to nature, and we can finally enjoy our own space. And we were thinking about the house, interior, what we can do there. Yeah, this planning has started, and at the same time I started to think about my career, what I can do again. Like, I wanted to make art for good things, I'm not sure if it sounds clear, but yeah, I definitely had a particular concept inside of my head. And yeah, I really, at some point, I thought that I have finally this picture again. I built it up out of ruins, after war ruins, And suddenly, the time to leave Russia has come. In September, I visited a very special place, a very meaningful place. It is a place of my childhood, and I call it my happy place because every time I'm there, I feel very special. I even illustrated this place a while ago, and I called this illustration my happy place. Let me just read the description that I wrote back then. I think it is very heartwarming. With every down period, I feel like I'm losing myself, and one thing sometimes helps me to get back to a better place. I imagine my happy place. It exists in both my mind and reality. This place is my old grandparents' village house located on a beautiful riverbank. I was in love with this place when I was a kid. Being there felt like living in a colorful fairy tale. It truly was. The house was surrounded by the river, old trees, and blossoming meadows. My grandparents used to live there throughout all seasons, and they kept a tiny farm with chickens and goats. It was so fun to feed them and watch them. I still remember and miss the incredible taste of fresh eggs and goat milk. In the middle of summer, blueberry season starts. It was the best. My grandma used to gather fresh berries in the nearest forest and cooked the tastiest blueberry buns in an old stone oven. I can't describe how many interesting things and adventures were hidden in this place. My grandpa had a boat, and every time we went fishing, my sister and I begged him to take us with him for water lilies hunting. My sister and I could spend all day long staying near water. We could swim several times per day and pretending we are mermaids, or playing grandpa's boat pretending we are having an incredible sea adventure. I enjoyed just to be at the riverside and look at the horizon. Several tiny islands were noticeable in the distance. I liked to imagine something mystical was happening there. All these warm childhood memories still live in my heart. I feel very vulnerable and nostalgic every time I come back to this place. My grandpa passed away several years ago, and grandma still spends there every summer, but the place looks pretty abandoned now. Every time I come there as an adult, I feel time. How time destroys old wooden village houses, takes away and changes people, changes me. Ironically, that in September, it was the place there I found out that partial mobilization started. And I had no idea at that moment what we were going to do with my husband with this situation. I knew only one thing for sure. There is no way my husband is going to take part in the war, and it's just impossible, you know. I went pretty far away from the village where I stay right now with my dad and with my grandma and my aunt, and I'm now in a place there I used to walk with my granddad. This is the place for my solitude, but at the same time I never feel lonely here. And now I'm sitting here listening to the wind. There is a river behind me, but you can see it because I forgot to take my big tripod. I tried not to dive very deep into nostalgic feelings fully, because from some perspectives these feelings don't bring too much, good things. We should live right now, right here, but this place brings so much happy memories to me, and I believe that as a child this is the only place that I felt completely happy. It always was on summer vacations. I was here always on summer vacations. The weather was wonderful. You have a river just in several meters from your house, and you can swim every day. You can do whatever you want because, I just walked around here, played here with my sister or with some friends. And this place is fantastic. This place is very beautiful. And yeah, I guess that's the only place that I felt 100% happy. And at the same time, it is very surrealistic to be here. The day after partial mobilization was announced in Russia, and I feel very scared, and I feel devastated, and I have a lot of anger. I feel this anger, but yeah, I try not to focus on it. And I don't know what is going to happen here in the future, but I see nothing good. And I feel a lot of pain for my country right now. I feel a lot of pain for its path that it has chosen. And it is very hard to realize that you can't do anything. And yeah, even this place doesn't save me from these dark thoughts. And there are birds here. And I think that as a moment then I will come back home, I will feel fully all the range of the feelings that I have described before, because now I feel them like partial, very partial, maybe because of the place. I'm surrounded here by my loved ones, by my family. I am in the place that I love, that brings me a lot of memories. And probably when I come back home, it will be worse, I guess. My husband urgently left Russia at the end of September, and he moved to Armenia with a couple of his friends, and I left alone in Russia, and I had 2-3 months to kind of finish up some chores, some businesses, some errands, I don't know. And yeah, that's actually was a pretty strange period, because I don't know, I didn't feel sad too much, I didn't feel very sad because maybe subconsciously, somewhere on some level, I thought that it may happen, I thought, and maybe partly I was ready for this, and I felt pretty stable, I felt pretty okay during this period. I was just doing some of my business day by day, step by step. I prepared some documents, I prepared some certificates for tour, to leave the country. And yeah, actually it was a pretty nice period too, because I had enough time to say goodbye to the people I love and to say goodbye to some places, even though, I clearly remember that when I visited Woodland, during this period, I didn't feel anything, and I remember I messaged my husband with the following, I feel that everything what I see here doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to me, and again, maybe it was partly, again, some sort of psychological protection that my brain created for me. I don't know. But I just was walking around there, looking at the trees, looking at our house, and I felt nothing. It felt like someone has already, took away it from me. And yeah, it was pretty strange. I know the lighting is not very good, and I'm wearing no makeup today, so that's for good, I guess. Now I'm sitting in a very special place. This is my unfinished woodland studio, and yeah, I was going to have a separate studio. I have been dreaming about this for so long, but yeah, I think it will not happen, at least for now. And I'm not an optimist at all, but I'm not a pessimist. I tend to be realistic, and because of the relocation, I feel, I don't know, pretty strange here. I know that what is happening right now is not a dramatic thing for me at all. No one can take away this house from me. No one can take away this piece of land that I love so much. But at the same time, I know that I can come back someday here. I want to believe that I can come back here. And now I'm going to have a different life. It doesn't mean that it will be worse, I don't know, my mind is pretty, confused right now, and I tend to process everything what is happening with me with some delay, and I can say that I'm stressed right now, that I'm super anxious or whatever. I know that 2022 taught me a lot of lessons, and I learned a lot. And, the word planning has become hilarious for me, and especially long-term planning. Yeah, that sounds even funny, and the most interesting thing that I managed to find something very, very pleasant and good in short-term planning at all. Because before the war, I, of course, liked to have long-term aims, long-term purposes, and I imagined my life like a straightforward highway, and I'm moving towards my purposes. I know approximately where I want to be, and now it has changed crucially. Now I can't plan anything, for more than, I guess, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And you never know what is going to happen tomorrow. You never know where you will be. You don't know what conditions are going to be. And, I started to find something pleasant in all this. I started to feel that it can be very freeing, this feeling that your life can be different. One week it is this way, the next week, you're planning completely different things, and the week after that, maybe you will be in a different place or something will change, It doesn't scare me anymore, and I'm super thankful that, to myself in the first place, that I managed to adapt to these changes. So yeah, in about 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to be in Armenia with my husband. I miss him so much. I'm busy with finishing some, some things, some business that I have here. Saying goodbye to some places that I love, and slowly but surely saying goodbye to people that are staying here, my family, my friends, and yeah, preparing for a different future, which I believe will not be bad, it will be different, but I hope so much. I hope, again, what can we do without hope right now? I hope that it will be different, and I want to perceive it as some sort of adventure, truly. Yeah, here are my thoughts at this point. I just wanted to record some of my thoughts here, sitting in a very meaningful place. Mm, Even reminding myself that this place will never go away from me. I hope so much. That no one will take away this place from me, that I will be able to come back here when things get better. I don't know when, but I want to believe that it will happen someday. At the beginning of December, I relocated to Armenia finally. I had 1 week relocation trip with my dad and with my dog first, and then my husband switched my dad halfway and my dad came back home, and we kept moving with my husband. And yeah, this process was very hectic, very stressful. It had a lot of adventures. I shared in details this story, my relocation story, on my Patreon in one of the latest podcasts. And if you're interested, you can listen to it because yeah, it's pretty funny. I will not talk about this right now. And yeah, I finally successfully relocated, and now I still feel pretty strange because I start to feel that all the sad emotions started to kind of catch me up, started to catch me up. And only now I feel how much I miss people who left there. Only now I feel how much I miss Woodland and our house. And it is not only about place, it is about perspective of future life that you imagined at some place. And of course, at the same time, I tried to kind of think positive. I tried to convince myself that something new has begun, so this is a new beginning for me and for my husband, and now we're free to travel. We are free, to see different places, to kind of get new emotions, to meet new people. And of course, this is nice too. It is some sort of nomad lifestyle, is coming, and it is different. It feels completely different, and there are a lot of positive things too. But yeah, of course, at the same time, it is really hard to let go all the things that you appreciated in your previous life. So yeah, I guess that's all that I wanted to share today. Actually, I should have done this video kind of months ago. I wanted to do it months ago, but it was very hard to put my thoughts together, and actually I'm happy to finally do it. And I'm hoping to post more videos this year. I'm hoping to make more videos this year, more process videos, art making, art related videos, and I hope so much that you will stay here with me, and I hope so much that I will be able to find new audience, because I have no idea how to promote YouTube channels, I have no idea. Maybe it happens, itself somehow. If you can give me piece of advice, you can share it with me in the comments. And yeah, this video turned out probably too personal. Хорошо. Oh, okay. I was just interrupted by a phone call. We're looking for an apartment in Yerevan city at this point, because we don't want to stay in Gyuri. And it is completely difficult. It is very difficult and challenging because, first of all, we have a dog, and a lot of kind of landlords, they don't like animals staying in their apartments, and prices are still very high, and it is very hard to find, like find a balance, you know, between an affordable option and a pretty nice one, because prices are really not very great at this point. And yesterday we found a gorgeous option, and we decided, you know, to deal what it called like a negotiation or contract with the landlord for 6 months. And an apartment was very nice, and she agreed. You know, she of course didn't want to take us with dog, but she agreed. And I just got a call from a real estate agent, and she said that she changed, the landlord changed her mind, and she decided to, you know, to provide this apartment for other people because of our dog. Frustrating. Okay, yeah. You know, if you have ever looked for an apartment to rent, you probably know that this process is pretty exhausting. You know, to scroll through all the options every day, every hour, you know, because you can miss an option, you know, just in a half hour. You can just miss an option if you don't react. Oh, okay. Okay, where was I? I don't remember. Okay, I think that I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much for watching this video. Many thanks to my wonderful patrons who support me, you know, support my creative journey. I appreciate it so much. And you can check out my Patreon too. You know, there are a lot of interesting things and a lot of useful things, like my brush set for Procreate that I created this year, and different process videos, and color exploration posts, and, you know, etc. So yeah, don't forget to check this out. I would be happy to see you there. Yeah, thank you so much one more time, and bye bye.